1998 Smart Parts Shocker Sport Turbo. This is one of a few of my shoe boxes. I actually bought this one on eBay for a really good price. I had never aired it up. I had put a battery in it to make sure that the solenoids were clicking, but I never opened it up, didn't re-grease it, never aired it up until today. This is like the third time I've tried to make a video because stuff just keeps going wrong. As I said, I hadn't aired it up before today. I wanted to air it up just before I got on camera, just to make sure that it didn't explode or something. But aired up just fine. Came out here, dry fired it a couple of times. The bolt was cycling, but it wasn't engaging the fire cycle. So there's two solenoids here, one for the bolt going back and forth, one for the fire cycle. But after a few dry firing shots like that, it started to pop and come back to life, and I'm pretty sure the grease inside is just caked on and gross, but I wanted to see if I could get this thing going without really doing anything to it, and it seemed to be going pretty well. I mentioned the first time I tried to record this video, it's not posted anywhere, so don't bother trying to find it, that I just threw on my freak barrel that I had on my SFT. That is a gadget grip, by the way. I wouldn't play with the barrel plug in because I wouldn't want to lose it. Those are some clear dye stickies, or they used to be clear. Now they're yellow like almost every other pair out there. I do have a pair that's, or a set of clear dye stickies that's still perfectly clear, and they'll probably never be installed on a marker again just because nostalgia. They definitely were my favorite grips ever. I have a set of the black original dye stickies on my SFT. This does have an air assist elbow. I should say it's got the swivel elbow to connect. It's pretty much autococker hose. I do have an air assist elbow for the feed neck power feed, but I don't think I'll ever really use it because I don't want to break it. They're pretty darn rare, as far as I can tell. I have no idea if the serial number on the tray, the solenoid tray here, and the actual gun itself match. I think there is a place for me to check that, but it's not really important to me. I've got about 1,000 PSI left in the tank. This macro line that came on it, I don't remember if this was original or not. I never bought Shocker Sport new, but they were just coming out when I was getting started in paintball, so I do love them. They are big and they are heavy and they are slow, but they are probably my favorite old school electronic marker. So there's a tiny leak coming out of this push to connect elbow. I think this macro is a little bit bigger than it is bigger than the normal macro line, and that's kind of cool because I'm wondering if it flows better. I might try to put that on my Shocker Sport that's running a Glacier board and see how quick I can get it to go one day. So I did have this Extreme Rage elbow on it, which I had on my auto mag in my auto response auto mag video. If you want to check that out, just click on my name and browse through my videos. I noticed in that video that the rotor is actually too big for it and started to crack the elbow. So sure enough, when I put the rotor on this thing, it just went all right to hell, and so the elbow's no good anymore. I'm gonna take the screws out and just keep them for spares, but in my frustration, I managed to, I just ran inside and I found that I've actually got a V elbow, and these are my favorite elbows. I know they're bulky, and this one's all yellowed, but this is on a Rebel that I just got laying around, and so threw it on there and it works. Now, in spite of all that, the problems I was having with the rotor falling out of the elbow, it wasn't feeding either. Like, you know, you can see the ball stack in there now. I have fired it a couple of times. I was hoping to get my first shots throwing paint out of it on camera, but man, it's just ended up being a total disaster. But the feed neck was actually pinched shut, so I grabbed a 1/2-inch extension out of my toolbox in my garage and slipped it inside the power feed and gave it a couple of whacks with the dead blow, and now it's up and going again. So I didn't mar it up inside or anything like that, chew it up too bad. I'll try to make it a little bit more round because it is still smashed a little bit. Somebody probably dropped it. And hey, it might even happen shipping to me. I mean, I didn't really notice at the time. It's not a big deal to me. These feed necks, by the way, for anybody who's interested in getting one of these shockers, not all of them came with power feeds. Power feed was an option. But these feed necks are threaded. You can kind of see it's a little yellowy there. I don't think that's the original thread locker or anything, but some of them just have standard feeds. A couple of mine just have standard feeds, but be really careful with those elbows. If you're playing woods ball or whatever, be very careful so you don't wrench it off on a tree, because there are not very many threads there. They are fine threads, and you can just yank the feed neck right out of the body if you put enough torque on it. With, you know, I'm pretty sure that if I pushed hard enough on the side of the rotor there, I could just torque that thing off. But of course, I'm not going to do that. So I can't remember, but in case you were wondering, there is no on-off switch to this thing. So I've just got the battery in it and it's on. And I can't remember if I have the manual safety on. Yeah, it sure is. There is a mechanical safety on this damn thing. So now it's off. And let's fire a couple of shots. Try and aim through the camera here. A couple of leftovers in there. Let's get that one out. So I can go ahead and tell you, just from, get rid of that, it's annoying. Just from owning a couple of these things, this one's tuned really, let's say, conservatively. It's these things can go a lot quicker than that. I'm willing to bet that this thing started to shoot slow, and whoever owned it before me just kind of opened it back up and started playing with dip switches versus trying to clean the bolt, or, you know, try to actually get the cycling going. In addition to lubing it up with just your Dow 33, it's pretty much what everybody uses nowadays. I believe this was the first production marker that called for Dow 33 and not some type of oil. Not only do you need to lube the internals with that Dow 33 grease, but you've also got to take apart the MaxFlow. So I say old school MaxFlow rag. This is definitely first generation off a shocker or an impulse, but it's actually marked for a shocker, so I guess that solves that mystery. But it's got the smart parts drop forward. Somebody's bent it up by smacking it on something. I don't know if you can tell, it's got a slight little bend up there in the video. I have no idea what it's chronoed at. I didn't feel like lugging Big Red out here to chrono it. I just want to see if it's shot. This can't be too old, because some of you will remember that the originals here, the adjustment, call it a knob, that contains the spring inside, is actually much longer. So I've never really seen this style though, because I got the adapter for my first shoebox, which I've had since, oh, I don't know, like the year 2000. I got the kit that they released to shorten it up, but that kit has, or that knob has kind of a hex pattern to it. I don't think it's really a hex. I think it's a hex with some dimples for finger grooves. But I did that along with the vertical MaxFlow kit that Smart Parts released. So I've got that on one of my other shoe boxes, and maybe I'll make a vid of that someday. But as you can see, I got paint like all over the ground here from the friggin' rotor fiasco. But hey, there's a couple of bricks there. I bet my shocker weighs more than 2 or 3 of those put together. But thanks for watching. Hope I didn't bore you too much. I'll hopefully see you guys soon in another video.